Namaskar and good evening to the second tutorial of learning Sarod. Today we will learn how to tune the instruments and how the instruments is tuned and how to play the first 7 notes of the Sarod. So to tune the instruments, we basically have 8 strings, major 8 strings, and some sympathetic strings to back up the major notes that we are going to play. The first string from the bottom is tuned in Ma, like. The second string from the bottom is tuned in Sa. So both the strings sounds like. Now the third string from the bottom, it's tuned in Pa. Now the fourth string from the bottom is the lower octave of Sa again. This Sa is the lower octave. Now the fifth string, which is this one, is the lower octave of Pa. Then the sixth string that we again tune in Sa, it is just to amplify because in the previous day there was no microphones to amplify the sound. So we put many Sa so that to amplify the sound of the Sa. When we put it in the at a go, the entire sound's reverb come from the Sa, which shows the actual chord of the instrument in which it is tuned. My instrument is tuned in scale C. Many of the other instruments are sometimes tuned in B, sometimes in C sharp. It depends on the entire instrument. So when you press downward, the entire scale you can hear. Listen to it. This too is we call it as chikari. Chikari is again tuned in upper octave of Sa, like. This is the higher octave of Sa. So the chikari is tuned in this Sa. Initially we use this chikari to fill in the gaps between the two notes. For example, if we play an alap, it actually fill up the gaps between the two notes, otherwise it will sound blank, something like. Because in initial days there was no tanpuras to back up the or any other instrument, so we used to use all the shikaris to show the entire chord structure of the rags that we play. So used to, as I said, that it is used to fill in the gaps between the two notes while we play it, like. And if it is in a smaller and diminished tempo, it's something like. This is how we tune the basic 8 strings, major 8 strings that we play generally on the Sarod. Now we come to the sympathetic strings, how to tune the instrument. This sympathetic string we tune according to the rag and the notes on the rag that we play. If we are playing any such rag like Vilabal, so we tune the instrument as Dha, Ni, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa, Dha, Ni, Sa accordingly. Sometimes there are some rags where some notes are not there. We don't use some notes. So it is accordingly, it is again tuned in that way. So we call it a sympathetic strings. So when we tune it in a particular raga, if we play the notes on the raga, the strings over here start vibrating, and as we know, if it is vibrate, so that it amplifies the sound. So it is just to amplify the sound and to create a resonance of any particular notes. This is how we actually tune the instrument. Now we will start off with how to play the first 7 notes on the sarod. As I said, the second string, which indicates the sa, it's an open sa. If we hit it on the second string, it's now we place our first finger maybe around 2 inches away from the bridge to get the note called re. Now again we shift to the around 1.5 inch towards right to get the note called ga. Now this is where the technical things comes. If we put the first finger on re, we can see that the distance of re to ga is 1.5 inch, and we can cover it by the third finger because third finger is much closer to ga. So we use the third finger. Otherwise we have to use the first finger to come from this side to this side. We have to work hard on the first finger. It becomes difficult and it creates another extra sound that we later on we will say. It's called meal. There's a sound that comes because while we move from the first note to the second, like this extra sound comes because we are pulling it on the same string. So just to avoid that and to cover up the distance, we use the third finger. So now we have learned the sa, re, ga, first 3 notes. Now as I said earlier, the first string which shows the note called ma. If you open, it's an open note, we hit only and we get the sound. So now we have learned the first 4 notes. Now on the first string, just below the note re, if we put the finger, it comes as pa. Now somebody might ask why we put the first finger on pa. So we have noticed that we have placed the third finger on ga, then ma is open. So the finger which is nearer to the note pa is the first finger. So we put the first finger. Then the next note is called dha. Just below the ga, if we put the first finger, it's called dha. Then the total thing is so you must have noticed that I played it in 2 different ways. First I put the first finger on dha, and secondly I put the third finger on dha. The basic logic behind is, if we are stopping the phrase in dha, then we put the third finger because it is nearer to the third finger. So like the entire phrase is starting from sa and we are ending it up in dha, and if the last note is dha, so the only finger nearer to dha is the third finger, so we are stopping here. Now if we have to go forward from dha to ni, it's on the same string, and if we use the third finger, then we again have to jump from third finger to first finger to go through ni. we have to jump. We have to move the fingers in such a way, and it's very difficult when we are playing it in a high tempo. So what we do is we use the first finger because it becomes easier for us while we are moving forward. And if we are stopping again at knee, we can place the third finger if we are finishing the phrase on knee. So something like. Now I am putting my first finger on knee because I have to finish my phrase on the last note, that is again sa, the higher octave of sa. So the higher octave of sa is something here. So I will be finishing my phrase in the higher octave of sa. So I can see the distance of sa is near, so I can use the second finger so that I don't have to jump through my first finger to go there. Now, on the third string, if we put the third finger just above the ga, we find the lower octave of ni, something like. Just below, just above the ga, below the ni is ga. Again, on the same way, just above re is dha. You must be noticing that I am using my third finger and first finger. I have already told you why I am using the logic behind it. So something sounds entirely like. So this is how basically we start off with the tuning the instrument and play the first important 7 notes to Sarod by using the correct fingers. Thank you.